my people, Jamaican reggae icon Buju Banton revealed that he is an Igbo man. According to him, he said that he has Igbo heritage, tracing his root to the Igbo tribe of Nigeria. Like ever since this news broke out, my people, some group of people want to go and hug transformer, like they want to go and tie themselves. You guys know that these people, they are trying all their possible best to make sure that they bring Igbos down. Not just in Nigeria, they are carrying this their propaganda. They are even going to another country, having conversation, telling people Igbos are bad, Igbos are this, Igbos are that. But despite that, other people from other countries, they are eager to belong to Igbo tribe. Like their dream is to be called Igbo woman or Igbo man, my people. Whom God bless, no man can curse. This is the reason why when this Jamaica singer came out to say that he is an Igbo man, like they are not liking it, my people. They are not liking it. It shows that their propaganda is not working. Just take a look and listen to this Jamaica singer.
Our indigenous life and our indigenous way of life and our lands are being threatened by the current government administration of Jamaica, who seek to bring Chinese and other nationalities into the cockpit region, which is an indigenous sacred region, to usurp us, the Maroons, as the warriors. So
a Maroon
are some of the indigenous warriors on my island. We fought the British relentlessly.
Those are the Moors?
Maroons are from, we're called Blackamoors, but my generation originated from Nigeria. I'm an Igbo man according to my bloodline. I'm an Igbo man according to my bloodline.
So my people, that is it. I hope you heard what Buju Banton said here. Look at how proud he is to be an Igbo man. And some people in Nigeria that answered Meka Ikechukwu, they denied that they are not Igbos, like shame unto them. So in another story here, my people, which I'm going to be showing you the video, because we'll be hearing that Finland government want to get hold of Simon Ekpa and bring him back to Nigeria, which Simon Ekpa has already come out online and debunked the story. But in this particular video, you're going to hear it in detail, like what happened and what is still happening, especially the insecurity that is happening in the Southeast, what Nigeria government is doing about it and all that. So let me allow you guys to listen to the video. I'm going to be right back. But before then, if today is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share it as well.
This week, the government of Finland decided that it was time for them to take action against separatist Simon Ekpa, the self-proclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Now, why was there sudden interest in the government in Finland on secessionist activities? What did they see now that they hadn't seen before? Despite their claims, Simon Ekpa remains largely undisturbed and very active on social media, continuing to communicate with most of his followers and anybody else interested in what message he's bringing on. Now, in sharp contrast, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention since the last administration, despite various orders from different courts at different levels to have him released, even awarding him damages to be paid by the federal government, even with the fact that his abduction raised eyebrows as it seemed extrajudicial. Now, the question is this sudden interest in Simon Ekpa a means to placate people about the rising insecurity, particularly in the Southeast? Or is it just, another distraction from what is really happening? Is that the best solution? And is that what Nigeria needs right now? The country is embroiled in theaters of war in the Northwest, in the Northeast, in the Southeast, and there has never been a complete stop to activities of militants in the South-South. Today on the program, we'll be discussing the insecurity, not just in the Southeast, but the whole of Nigeria, and how sincere the federal government is in tackling it. Recently, we saw in the newspapers the Finnish government saying they are coming for Simon Ekpa now. And we are wondering why. It has reached the point where something we should say, okay, we now start wondering everything now we have to question because we don't know the motive behind what is being done. And it's worrisome that there's now a lack of trust that the general public has for the government's reasons for engaging in actions. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention. Long after the courts have said he should be released, long after damages were even awarded. He was arrested during the Buhari administration along with the Shiite leader El Zakzaki. At the same time, Mietiala had a terrorism label prescribed to it. And then we had Oloye Sunday Igboho, of the Yoruba Nation agitator arrested and detained in Benin Republic. Now, the Tinubu administration has since released the Shiite leader El Zakzaki. The terrorist brand has been dropped for Mietiala. Sunday Igboho is a free man, even making courtesy calls. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu still remains in custody. Now, is there any reason why, of all of these players, only Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention? And the reason I ask this is that people are saying that, you know, Southeast insecurity is not the government's priority. Some even argue that there are people either in government or in close proximity to those in government that have either interest or benefit in insecurity remaining in the region. Now, the government's actions are not allaying people's fears, but are we reading too much into it, or is there any substance to that fear?
Well, you see, in law we say res ipsa loquitur. It's a Latin word, means the thing speaks for itself. You see, where the Nigerian government, you know, tried to use insecurity agents to intimidate people, is only in the southeast. I just want to be very blunt about it. Now, the most recent example, 1st August, 10th of August, some civil society groups declared 10 days of protest. The Southeast resigned from the protest, said they are not going to join. But the streets of the Southeast were still being manned by soldiers. Everywhere you go, you see soldiers blocking people and organizing some unnecessary checkpoints when there is no protest in the Southeast. In the North, protesters were jumping on top of police vehicles.
Armored personnel carriers.
Jumping on top of armored personnel carriers, burning down police stations. And the police deserted the whole place. In the Southwest, Lagos, for instance, police were escorting protesters. Now, let's just take that one aside. Your question was, the federal government is angling for Simon Ekpa, who is in Finland. Why Nnamdi Kanu, the court has ordered in the fundamental right to find the Federal High Court to be released, to be given this, given that, is still launching in detention. Even where court first released him, even the appellate court, they still went on to prepare another charge and said they amended the charge just to keep the young man there. Nonetheless, I ascribe the problem of the Southeast to the Southeast governors. Squarely, without mercy, all of them, including the new ones just came in, they are all complicit. Why do I say they are complicit? If you have listened to some Dave Umai speak, whenever he wants to speak, if you have not listened to him, you'll find out that each time he takes a microphone and doesn't mention name, the kind of mention IPOB or mention Biafra, they have not started. And the voice state is not part of it. Nobody is begging Dave Umai. He's not the spokesman of the boy people. There is no referendum either to show who has accepted to be in Biafra or who has accepted to be in Biafra. So why give his head headache about it? Now, by chance, he now became the Minister of Works. Being the Minister of Works, he also became stay very close to the presidency because he's his minister. Now, many of them are afraid of what non-state actors like Nnamdi Kanu will do to them if they are free men walking in the streets. Because if Nnamdi Kanu, when he was even overseas before his rendition from Kenya, if he says there should be a seat at home, the governors will come out and say, if you don't come to work, you'll be sacked. Nnamdi Kanu will be saying it from wherever he may be there, and people will be obeying. And the governor who pretend to be voted into power will give his own counter directive and nobody will obey him. Don't you smell something there? So the non-state actors became more powerful. Then you didn't ask me the reason why are they more powerful. They are more powerful because they tell us the truth. Like I stay here now, I stay in most radio stations. I speak my mind the way I see it. I recall that there was one of the governors of the Southeast, I think it was in Enugu here, maybe I think the past governor thereabout. At the time, they started looking for me. Why not come and take SSA to the governor? I said, with all pleasure. State is my state. I will take it. So why, you don't need to ask me for it. But only on one condition. That of course doesn't want a salary. I don't want to be paid a salary. So that if you don't do what I like, or if I advise, because senior special assistant or senior special advisor is to advise. If I give you a positive advice that will help you, and you don't want to take the advice, I give the second one, I don't take the advice. And I know that all my advice, that all the advice I give you, are, advice that, that are more, germane to the issues of the day than the ones you are doing. I will resign and go and continue with my Lego work and continue with my TV speech and radio speech. So the man said, well, I say he doesn't want salary, forget him. I don't want anybody who don't want to pay salary. That's by the way. It is because these non-state actors are telling the government, the people, the truth. That's why the people are listening to them more than they listen to their government. If you are a governor and they are voted into power by the people, it is given that you have the mandate of majority of the people. And if you actually have the mandate of majority of the people, if you tell them stop here, they'll stop. If you tell them move, they'll move. Now some people say that they will obey the non-state actors out of fear and not out of normal compliance. I said, all right, it is also a factor. Oh. There might be fear instead in people. But you find out that since the Monday sit at home started in Southeast, with all the threat of the government, you find out that nobody shoots anybody again, whether you come out or they don't come out. Oh. You still don't come out. The government, if you have been the opportunity, one day take a walk around the secretariat. They will just rush you, sign their names. Because the government now said you must sign. You should have to come to work. They come there, sign their names, look around, they didn't see anybody, they will disappear. Because they will tell you that what they are doing to the people of Southeast, don't the government see it? One will talk about marginalization. Marginalization is not a matter of they didn't build road for us. Maybe you didn't give us a national television station, or you didn't give us the no. Marginalization is the manifest things you do to show somebody that you don't like him. That is marginalization. The manifest things. Let me give you one or two examples. The people of the Southeast becomes the economic hub of Nigeria. Economic hub in terms of manufacturing, in terms of industrialization. The industry we even have in Govt are owned by a lot of Igbos. 80% of them are owned by Igbos. Now they wanted to build a railway. First, we had to build one from Katsina to Niger, down to Niger. Now they now did another one touching south-south, skipping the entire Southeast. And now went and continued the one from the west to the north. What did we do? They said, okay, they want to do like Tinubu, when he was doing his campaign, he said, he can't even pay how much for a state called for a super highway. They wanted a super highway, that was coastal super highway. Then after the coastal super highway from around the area of Lagos, they traverse Lagos, all the riverine areas, and flush it somewhere, either in Akwa or across the river states, escaping the entire Southeast. Now, and you feel that with the modern day technology and social media, people don't see those things. We see it. Even the ones we have in our own domain here, look at our coal. Today, people from China still mining coal in our home. Today, as I'm speaking with you, if you carry your camera now and go to our home, you will see decent, clean trucks loading our coal, moving them to God knows where, packaging them, and they're sending them overseas. Coal in anywhere. They say it's an exclusive place of the federal government because it's mineral resources. So which federal government is now taking the glory of that one being mined illegally now in our home? Now you check other things. Let us leave our roots. They have given us a minister for works. Go to Southeast because they say you did very well in their boy. when you were governor. The Minister for Works, I think it was in February that the artisan bridge collapsed.
Yes.
Up to now, that artisan bridge, they're still working on single bridge. The artisan bridge. But in the beautiful hotel, only God knows who owns it. As you drive towards the EFCC by what do you call that school? Our Lord Shepherd High School. You see, they even blocked one lane. Come and see the speed with which they are building that hotel. Of course, doesn't know who owns it. But I know that whoever must have owned that hotel, that is the work is going to be for progress. That hotel was owned by somebody in government. Because they blocked one wing of the road. And our governor who hates obstruction of the highway that has unleashed a lot of people on the roads of Enugu State. If you park your car, their car breaks and they tell you and carry your battery and say you are going to pay 25,000. The government just seen that one. The kind of what do you call it? Wind gate that toss cement there. It's not the manual wind gate that me and you use. It is the truck type. And when I passed there this afternoon, there were more than 5 there, standing on the road, queuing up. And they are turning the cement, but I think they were doing one decking there, but they are taking a floor. Now, why am I bringing all these things? The speed with which that one is being done. If the minister can do our bridge that collapsed in Artisan with that same speed, or half of that same speed, my brother, nobody will be complaining. But now you see, who is now marginalizing the Southeast? Is it we, the people of Southeast? Or is it our leaders, or our political leaders? Because we have our leaders, we have our political leaders. So these leaders and political leaders are in concert. And once they are in concert, they don't care about me and you. I'm not talking about Igbo leaders. There are Igbo leaders who are benefiting from the federal government. When they talk of the Ojos Okanos, when they talk about Rogers Okorochas, the Umayis, they are benefiting. So they will always try to trample on their people to please the federal government. So that is why that issue of insecurity we are talking about in the Southeast. They want to have it as a trump card with which they will always go to Tinubu. If you do this, we are going to stop insecurity. Don't release in America so that insecurity will not continue. Don't do this so that this one. So these things are things that they go. Like I said yesterday when I was having a program, I said many people who are in government are like prisoners. Yes, once you get into that office, whether you're a governor, even a local government chairman, you're a prisoner. Because you are no more free like me and you now. At the end of this program, when I drive to any joint today, carry our chair on the road and sit down and drink. No governor can do that. No president can do that. And it is when you drink in that kind of place, the man walking in the street, the kind of gist they will be giving you, you feel the pulse of the people. But if you have been somebody who have been in the street before you became a governor, you must still remember the little ones you had when you were in the street. That might help you to work for the people. Like Sullivan Chime did. Because he's a man of the street, all about drink Pamia and beer, music everything, where he was not a governor. Even when he was an attorney general, we all stayed in the same place. So he found out that immediately he became governor, he knew the problems of the man on the street. And that was why he became first of all, Enugu road we are in the complete condition. He said, wherever you see road in Enugu, we are work on it, measure it, bring it to the bill, we will pay. He used our money to work for us. At least based on the things they have done. They are still trying to maintain many of them, and maintenance we are talking about, not building new ones. So, but what we are talking about is that our political gladiators and our political leaders, they are fueling insecurity in the Southeast. Not only Southeast, they are also fueling it in the West, Southwest. Tell me, if Sunday Igbo says you want to fight the Fulanis who has bedded, it is only in Yoruba land you can see a forest nobody have been to for the past 200 years. Such forests are not in the Southeast. We don't have it here, we don't have such land. But in the West, that's where you get snails that are as big as this pillow here. Because most of the snails, they are as old as 20, 30 years. What they bring out on the road, they tell you one is about 10,000, 15,000 per snail. But you have to buy it because it is import to a full basket of snail down here. So this shows you that when the man wanted to fight the insecurity, that was when his own travel started in the Southwest. Amoteku, that was installed by the West. We are not hearing much about Banton again. Why? Maybe somebody cautioned them. Take it easy.
I mean, with regards to Amoteku, if you remember that the late governor of Ondo State, the late Governor Akeredolu,
Yes.
was one of the staunch supporters of Amoteko. In fact, they were the first. And someone I know from Ondo, from Owo in particular, told me that the attack on the Catholic Church in Owo was a message, like,
Yes.
we are going to fight this thing. And with his illness, and this coincided with the beginning of his illness, which eventually led to his death. And we've not heard much from Amoteko since then. But in all fairness, when they wanted to launch Amoteko, all the governors were there.
Correct.
All the Southwest governors.
Yes.
They came in the same Olode, Jagu attire. They were like warriors themselves. When we wanted to launch the ESN in the Southeast, is ESN government or ESN IPOB? No. Then there was no. If ESN is IPOB, we have a Bubagu. Yeah. There was this confusion. If you were outside the Southeast, and I was, I was fortunate at that time not to be in the Southeast. So I understand the confusion the rest of Nigeria had at that time.
It was the people of the South that demonized the ESN. Because what they could have done ordinarily is come to ESN and make them the Abubago. If they want to change their name, they cannot change their name to Abubago. But they now set up a parallel Abubago. And the Abubago's first mission was to confront the ESN. So the war now started among the security agents in the Southeast, thereby making the herdsmen have a field day. Now, in the north, the what they call them, the joint JTF, military JTF. They are doing a lot of job in the north, both in the northeast and the northwest. But the problem still is that the same lip service that government is giving to security. Because I still wonder why you even call a policeman, for instance, and tell him people are robbing my house. He was asking what type of gun do they have. Are they black or blue? Are they tall or yellow? Do they come with a vehicle? All these things are things you must have to understand. That make the insecurity a continuous thing that will not hardly stop until we become sincere with ourselves. Encourage whoever is trying to organize any kind of local security. You have to encourage him. If you encourage him, you can equip him too. Now, virtually every community in Igbo land is trying to put their own neighborhood watch on their own. Government will now be paying them, I think they pay them 10,000 naira a month. Whichever month they feel like they pay. Now, the 10,000 they pay them is also not regular. And the people that are paying are being paid about 4 persons in each ward. 4 or 5%, at best 10% in a ward. So will 10% organize effective security in a ward? Remember, a ward is something that consists of 2 communities.
Yes.
Like in my own village, we have Oglo and Nezamolo. These are 2 independent communities. They are traditional rulers. But we make up 1 ward. The other side is Ibezolo, Amandem, 2 communities, Amandem, Ibidolo and Amagomoloba. About 5 communities. They have the largest voting block in Enugu. It is 1 ward. And maybe you come there and pay 10 persons to be their neighborhood watch or to be their security. They will never went. So what many community did was to recruit on their own, recruit their own young men, try to empower them so that they assist the one government are paying. Otherwise, if you don't do that way, Namdi, insecurity will continue and the food scarcity will continue. Because these people are heartless. If they come to anybody's farm, there was a time they invaded my cassava farm. They were uprooting my cassava, uprooting the thing, giving the tubers to the cows. So somebody called me, I called my security man, he rushed to the place, they challenged him. And if you come here, they will shoot you. I told him, just make sure you note the face of people who are doing it. I came back on the weekend, I drove to their camp in the band where we have band in Anambra State. I confronted one.
That's Okanot.
Yes, but now just now Okanot. We have a president Okanot. That's where they camped. That time. Because they are no more there now. Where is Yusuf? Because that's Yusuf. He sends scout to our people during Christmas. So we know him. So I got him. They say he went to Bogonik. I called him on phone. He came down. I took him to my farm. They assessed my casual damage and they paid me. I gave him my pay. So, but it is me who can do it. The village people cannot do that. He may not, because my fight was, if Yusuf cannot pay me, I will still go ahead and go to their pay masters in here, artists are here. I'm not sure that they pay for that cassava.
I mean, we've run out of time, but with just like 1 minute, because you raised something that struck my attention. Is it now as a solution, is it now time for us to maybe constitutionally empower traditional rulers to be involved in local security so that traditional rulers, council of chiefs, Agbalanze, if it's in Yoruba land, the Obas Court, Balogun, Otun, Osi, everybody can, is it now time to have a constitutional framework that, just like we have Sharia courts that are religious based, can we now have security outfits that are constitutionally empowered so that the traditional ruler sits at the top of it, and whoever he appoints as his local general, for a better balance, is responsible for that?
I don't even subscribe to that. You know why I don't subscribe to that? Most of traditional rulers, I didn't say all, most traditionals definitely abuse that office because the office is for life, especially in Nigeria. You can use people who have tenure. You want to make it a constitutional issue. You want to codify it as the law. People who will be in charge of security in their very domain. Make it people who are electable.
Like a sheriff.
Like the president generals. Yeah. They come in at least every 5 years in some communities. But no community goes more than 5 years. So if you can use that, and it becomes, and nobody goes a second tenor, or they also go a second tenor, it becomes a ground of campaign or a ground of removal that you couldn't maintain security in our community upon the government giving you all this money. But for Igwe, even if you tell Igwe you're not going, you say, okay, I'll try my best, because you cannot remove him. Igwe is for life. So if you want to do anything, do it with people who have tenor. So that their lapses or their successes will contribute to either they are going a second tenor or they are dropping after one tenor. But if we make it to people who are tenorless like Igwes, let the Igwes continue to be custodians of the people's culture. Let them leave the issue of security. Because when they go to the issue of security, it will also become a problem. Because many of the Igwes are no more young, but most of the president generals are vibrant.